The Roman-Persian Wars were the longest continuous war in human history, lasting for over 700 years from the 3rd century BC to the 7th century AD. The wars were fought between the Roman Empire in the west and the Parthian and Sassanid empires of Persia in the east. The wars were primarily fought over control of the border regions between the two empires. The wars had a profound impact on the history and culture of both empires. They led to technological and military advances, as well as the spread of culture and trade between the two empires. The wars included 19 major battles, some of the most important of which were the Battle of Carrhae 5-3 by CA, Roman victory; the Battle of Pydna 168 BC, a Roman victory, the Battle of Edessa HU 17, a Persian victory, the Battle of Mizikci DAE, Persian victory, the Battle of Nineveh CYA 627 AD. A Persian victory. The wars eventually came to an end with the rise of Islam in the 7th century AD. The rise of Islam led to the collapse of both the Roman and Persian empires. The Roman-Persian Wars lasted from the 3rd century BC to the 7th century AD. The wars were fought over control of the border regions between the two empires. The Roman-Persian Wars had a profound impact on the history and culture of both empires. The Roman-Persian Wars included 19 major battles. Some of the most important battles were Carrhae, Pydna, Edessa, Misish, and Nineveh. The Roman-Persian Wars eventually came to an end with the rise of Islam. Please listen to this article. The difference in duration between the Roman-Persian Wars and the 100 Years' War is because the Roman-Persian Wars were not continuous. In fact, they occurred in different periods of time with varying levels of intensity. The 100 Years' War, on the other hand, was a continuous war. It lasted from 1337 to 1453, and during that time there was never a time when there was no conflict between the two countries. Therefore, if we only consider continuous wars, the 100 Years' War is the longest war in history. The 100 Years' War lasted for 116 years without interruption, while none of the Roman-Persian Wars lasted that long. Therefore, the answer to the question of which war is the longest in history depends on what we mean by long. If we mean continuous wars, the 100 Years' War is the longest war in history. But if we mean overall wars, the Roman-Persian Wars are the longest wars in history. Okay, let's go to video. The 100 Years' War was a war fought between France and England from 1337 to 1453. It was the longest war in European history and had a profound impact on the history and culture of both countries. The 100 Years' War was fought over control of French territory. France at the time was divided into two parts. The northern part ruled by the King of France and the southern part ruled by the Duchy of Aquitaine. The Duchy of Aquitaine was ruled by the King of England. The 100 Years' War began with the claim of Edward III, King of England, to the French throne. Edward III claimed that he was the rightful heir to the French throne. France disputed this claim and the war began. The 100 Years' War was fought in 4 periods. First period, 1337–1356. In this period, England was able to conquer large parts of France. Second period, 1356–1389. In this period, France was able to retake some of its territory. Third period, 1415–1429. In this period, England was again able to conquer large parts of France. Fourth period, 1409–1453. In this period, France, led by Joan of Arc, was able to defeat England and end the war. The 100 Years' War had a profound impact on the history and culture of France and England. The war led to the strengthening of the national state in France and England. It also led to the growth of nationalism in these two countries. Here is a summary of the 100 Years' War in 30 lines. The 100 Years' War was a war fought between France and England from 1337 to 1453. It was the longest war in European history. The 100 Years' War was fought over control of French territory. The war was fought in 4 periods. The 100 Years' War had a profound impact on the history and culture of France and England.